Native News Today.
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Native News Today for this week. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, and we got a lot to talk about this week and some great things that we've been able to go out and document for you, and we'll have them all here in the next 30 minutes, so I hope everybody has cleared out their space today and allowed us to come into your homes and bring you some great Native American news happening right here in Green Country. As we approach the month of June, every year, the big thing for the month of June around these parts is the Muskogee Creek Nation Festival, and we're going to be having some things in the coming months about the festival and past festivals. We'll revisit some of the things from those, and we'll also look at this year's festival and some of the things going on there, and we'll let you know some of the events and some of the dates, times, so you won't miss any of that great stuff going on, and the entertainment and things like that, and some of the sports that go on out there too. So all that happening out at Mulgee. I'm not going to get into it today, but I will in the next few weeks let you know what's going on and the whole schedule and everything like that. So luckily, we have a few days between now and then to where we can get all that information in. But one of the things that is happening during the festival and happens during every Creek Festival is the Muskogee Council House Museum's annual art festival that goes on. And this year, it's going to be on June 21st. Now, the big thing about this year's art festival is it will be featuring Muskogee Creek and Cherokee and Seminole potter Mike Daniel. Mike Daniel does wonderful pottery, and he was at the council house yesterday, and we were able to visit with him. So we're going to get all this out there to you and let you be able to hear some words from Mike and see some of his work out there, and get ready and excited for him to come and be part of the Creek Council House Museum's Art Festival. So that's going to be a wonderful thing out there, and we'll talk to Mike Daniel about that in this show. Also in this show, we got some other great stuff too. Jared, go ahead and pop up the next one on there. We got the Muskogee Creek Light Horse Police out at the shooting range here in Mulgee. They part of their ongoing annual cleat certification, they have to shoot, they have to hit the targets, and they have to score at a certain level. And we talked with Jay Lone Wolf about this, the Special Operations Commissioner out there at the Light Horse Police Department. And Jay was telling us all about this, and he said, why don't you guys come out to the range and check it out? And we thought, yeah, that's cool. I mean, we do a lot of stuff out there normally, but one of the things we've never got to do is go out and see some people shoot some 12-gauge shotguns. So we were able to do that, and it was pretty cool, and hopefully our ears are fine. Me and Jared were the only ones out there without any earplugs or anything like that, so hopefully we're not permanently damaged, and we can go on and be fine without that. And also another special thing that happened this week that we're going to be telling you about, the Navajo Nation Riders coming through on their way to Washington, D.C. They thought they'd stop off at the Muskogee Creek Nation brand new Veterans Building and check out what we got over here. And they were very impressed with that. There was Navajo public relations officers there. There were all kinds of Navajo riders, and also tribal counselors from the Navajo Nation here visiting, and very impressed with what they saw. Very honored to be at the Muskogee Creek Nation, presented with gifts from the Tribal Veterans Affairs Director, Mr. Ken Davis, and from the Speaker of the National Council, as well as the Second Chief, Mr. Thomas Yahola and Mr. Alfred Berryhill, respectively. They're on hand, as well as other members of the Muskogee Creek Nation officials, and we, the media, were out there covering this event. Great thing to be able to see them walk through the museum and share in things with the Muskogee Creek Nation and the Muskogee Creek people, and be able to enjoy their visit here on our side of things a little bit further east than what they're used to. They're out there in Arizona, and a very, very proud Navajo Nation, very large Navajo Nation, the largest surface area of any tribe in the United States. So very glad to have the Navajo Nation, and very glad to have them at the Veterans Building and let them see how much we take care of our Muskogee veterans, and that we're so proud of that. All that is coming up on this week's episode and more. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with all of those great news stories right here on Native News Today.
Here we are at Club Trifecta, and it looks like there's dance-off going on. And there's MC Butts looking like he's about to butt in somewhere he don't belong. It looks like MC Butts just got beat down, and I knew there was something smelly about this dance-off competition, and it was MC Butts. Now Club Trifecta is a great place to be healthy and get your groove on.
Everybody out there, cover your ears. No, I'm just kidding. The audio is not too much of a problem as it was actually being there on this day, but we got some 12-gauge shotgun blasts coming for you now. We were out at the shooting range as the Light Horse Police took part in their annual cleat certification and scoring some good points out there on the targets, making sure that they do it in a timely manner. And I wasn't aware of this whole process, but it's pretty complex. They actually are timed. They have an instructor out there, a certified instructor from the cleat department, and he does a great job with that. But Jay Lone Wolf, the special operations officer at the Light Horse Police Department, was telling us about some of the things that they have to do. These are required throughout the year to keep them sharp, make sure that their cleat certification has not wore off or anything like that, and they maintain gun safety as well as accuracy. Now, they don't ever want to have to use these, but certainly in the line of duty and law enforcement, some situations may call for that, and it's better to be safe than sorry and be ready and prepared for such situations. And the Light Horse Police do a wonderful job of protecting us Muskogee Creek Nation citizens. And this day, they were sharpening their skills and making sure that they can do their jobs and get those good scores and make sure their cleat certification stays sharp. All right, we're doing a little shooting today. As you can hear in the background, we got Mr. Jay Lone Wolf here with us with the Muskogee Creek Nation Light Horse Police. And Jay, shots firing in the background. We're not under heavy artillery or nothing like that, but we're out at the range, as you can see over here to our left. And just tell us a little bit about what we got going on today out here in the city of Okmulgee.
Well, what we have going on today is the Muskogee Creek Nation Light Horse Police Department is doing one of our semi-annual qualifications on the range today. We are qualifying both our regular sidearm duty pistol, which is in the issue Glock 40 caliber, and also with the shotgun, the patrol shotgun. That's what we're doing today.
Got some 12 gauge coming out today, right?
Yes.
Now, this is actually this is part of the training they have to go through, continuous training, just to stay up with everything as far as their qualifications with Light Horse, right?
Yes, this is we have a semi-annual qualification standard that we have in place, and all our officers have to maintain a proficiency of at least 80%. So what we do is we shoot the state's course for both the pistol and the shotgun. The pistol is the state's test, and their standard is 70%, but ours is a little higher. It's 80% to pass. Make sure our shotgun course is also their standard is 70%, and our standard is 80%. We start on this range here, and with the pistol we shoot from a distance of 25 yards, and then we go back to for the shotgun we shoot from a distance of 50 yards.
Absolutely, and I know it's never a hope to a situation have to come down to using the firearms, but it's good to stay up on it and everything and make sure that everybody's proficient in that in case one of those situations do arise. Now, I know the Muskogee Creek Nation Light Horse Police, there's probably situations around the area where that does have to come into play. Now, Jay, I know that everybody out here, like you said, getting the semi-annual training. Who do you got helping you out here today?
Well, what we have, our game ranger, Bob Dagenet, is a cleat certified firearms instructor, as well as a FLETC firearms instructor. And FLETC is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center down at Artesia, New Mexico. And Bob's able to teach a federal firearms or shoot a federal firearms course and certify us if we would choose to use that. Bob's, like I said, Bob's our game ranger, and he's conducting the training today.
Absolutely. I heard some of the guys over here before they started talking about their cleat test when they first went through the cleat certification and what they scored then. I know a lot of them probably looking to improve on that. Is that what you're looking for the guys to get better and eventually get to where they are always above that mark?
Well, one of the things for shooting firearms, as well as some of the other aspects of law enforcement, is perishable skill. So what we try to do is continuously build upon what we have and continuously try to get better.
Absolutely, man. Well, we want to thank you guys for having us out today. We've had a lot of fun out here and watching you guys rack off a few rounds, and I might need to get some earphones from you here in a minute. I'm starting to get bad in here. But hey, might let us rack off a few out here too later on?
That might be a possibility.
All right, cool, man. I'm gonna make sure I'll aim at the target and none of the moving targets. How about that? All right, thanks, Jay. This gentleman over my shoulder here is Mr. Mike Daniel, a Creek Seminole and Cherokee potter, and Mike does wonderful work. And he was telling us about how he introduced the new pottery style when he was first breaking in, and told us a little bit about that. And he certainly, I guess he kind of felt akin to us here at Native News Today about how we're breaking ground with our multimedia and things like that, and publicly putting the tribes out there and putting what American Indians are doing in today's age out on the public sphere and letting everybody know what we're all about. And Mike's no different. He changed things, was a groundbreaker, and he certainly felt the need to tell us about all the things he was doing and a wonderful show he's got coming up. That's going to be June 21st. Now, everything's going to be kicking off at 10 o'clock at the Council House Museum, so you want to be there for that. But at the beginning of June, he's going to be doing pottery classes at the Council House, too. So it's not going to be just during the festival. Mike's going to be coming into our part of town in the beginning of June, spreading the word about his pottery and that great work, and passing it down to Muskogee citizens and everything like that, making sure that they know about what's going on with him and this art form. So this is Mr. Mike Daniel, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself.
I feel very honored to be asked to do this museum show and teach people how to do clay from a contemporary aspect and working on the potter's wheel. Hopefully we can involve children and their parents and their grandparents and maybe their great-grandparents all working together and have several generations working together and seeing how we do clay. As I said, on the potter's wheel, a lot of people know about traditional style, but we kind of broke the doors open in the 70s with our styles of clay and working on the potter's wheel. Now you have a lot of traditional potters, so I'm glad to see people that are back to pottery, one of the oldest, if not the oldest form of art that the Creator gave us. And with my work, I emphasize the Mississippian styles and designs in a contemporary and traditional fashion, making it on the potter's wheel and making shapes, forms, and designs that date back to around the 1100s. And then other pieces are done in my own motif and my own ideas. I use earth tones in my work. It's made on a potter's wheel, shaped and formed, but sometimes the clay will take its own life, and I let that happen too. And then after I've done about anywhere from 12 to 15 to 20 pieces at a setting or two settings, I will dry them and put my colorization on and cut the designs in, which is an old style of doing pottery using sgraffito or etching. And then I let it set up and dry for several days and then fire it in a high fire gas reduction kiln, which fires out around 2300 degrees, which is stoneware. And by reduction, that means I can control the colorization of the pottery, not using many glazes, some subdued earth tone glazes, but mostly on golds and oxidizes to get the earth feel. And I guess the mark of my work is I put circles on the inside, which a lot of American Indian cultures, circles are very important. If you go to ceremonial grounds, the fire's in the middle of the circle and people are going around in a counterclockwise praying and carrying on their dance and ceremonies. And so people will go inside the work and then they'll come outside. You may see ancient designs and forms and shapes, or you may see more contemporary figures and animals. And being here at the museum from around the 1st of June through the 21st, working with students and having a show is very important to me in the fact that I am Creek, Seminole, and Cherokee, and this will be the final museum that I've shown in. I've shown in the other two museums, and I'm very proud of all my heritage. And I'm dedicating this show to my father, who was an original enrollee, and my mother. My father is deceased, and to Freeman Loja Mitchell, who was a friend of mine and cultural advisor in Creek, and also to all adopted children, which I am a part of, and to the Muskogee people. And I feel it's a big honor to be here and doing this show. I hope people will participate as students and have some fun and learn something new in the clay mediums. And I hope people will enjoy the work that I present to them for show and sale. Thank you.
This past week at the Muskogee Creek Nation, we were treated to a special visit by members of the Navajo Nation. Now, there were not only public officials there from the Navajo Nation, there was representatives from the Office of the Speaker, and lots of motorcycle riders that came through and on their way to Washington, D.C. This is an annual ride that they take, and there's other rides too, but this is an annual ride that they take to Washington, D.C. every year, and they were coming through on their way to the nation's capital, and they thought they'd stop off at the capital of the Muskogee Creek Nation right here in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and they stopped off specifically at the Veterans Affairs Building, the Pentagon of the West, if you will, and Mr. Ken Davis, a gracious host always, was there to greet them, along with Second Chief Alfred Berryhill and Speaker of the House, Mr. Thomas Yahola, all those elected officials and tribal officials there to greet the Navajo riders. And it was a great day to be there to see two cultures, two tribes sharing together in a wonderful meeting, being able to share information, be able to fellowship. They got some good stuff to eat and stopped off and took a little rest on their ride. And the wonderful thing is to learn new things, learn new people, and be able to meet them. And it was wonderful to have the Navajo Nation here at the Muskogee Creek Nation at our Veterans Affairs office, and it was a great day. We're here with Bronson from the Navajo Nation, and he's with the group that's here today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what we got going on and this historic stop here at the Muskogee Veterans Building. Now, Bronson, I know that you're here on behalf of the Navajo Nation. Very proud to have you here with us at the Muskogee Creek Complex today. And how do you feel about being here with us today and seeing this wonderful memorial to the veterans?
Wow, well, this has just been very exciting. These riders have started out driving a few days ago, and we didn't really anticipate this very hot weather, but once we got here, I think the excitement of being here just really is over everything, over us right now. We're just excited to be here. We were received at the Arapaho Cheyenne Nation earlier today, and that was a great time as well, and we're looking forward to spending time here with you guys as well.
Definitely, and coming from out west into the east here in Oklahoma, and we're housing of 39 Indian tribes here in the state. Yeah. Must be nice to be able to get back in here and get with the native culture and some of the tribes here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of our writers, and especially myself, we've really been just overwhelmed with the amount of graciousness and people, observing what we're doing, going across the country, and it's just such a great deal to us as well, and we were very happy to accept the invitation to come back, or to come here, and we're going to continue on forward, and we're going to spread our message all the way to Washington.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Indian people. Wherever you go, whatever state you travel, whatever tribe you come in contact with, always giving, always gracious, and accepting of others, and bring them in, be hospitable, and show them a good time. That's no different here at the Creek Nation, I'm sure with the Navajo Nation as well. So very glad to have you on. You talked about in the future where you're going, where you've been. Tell us a little bit about where you're going and some of the places you'll stop also as you leave here.
Right. We're taking off from here. We're going to be heading all the way to Washington. From this point on, our main goal is to get to Washington. We have, the Navajo Nation has a whole set of a platform, basically, if you will, to what we need as far as veteran services. And once we get to Washington, we hope to meet with our congressional delegates, and we're going to meet with, in solidarity with other bike riders as well. As we are going to, drive by the Vietnam Memorial Wall, which is going to be, probably the most, the biggest moment of this whole trip, because there's going to be tens of thousands of bikers there, from several other organizations, and we also have a deal lined up with the American Indian Museum where we're going to have a gourd dance on Saturday afternoon, and so that's kind of put in part by some council delegates from the Navajo Nation, and that's going to be an exciting time as well.
Very, very exciting. And I want to say once again, very, very happy to have you guys stop by here today and get to visit with us. We know you've been traveling through, and it's just such a joy for us to be able to get to talk with you guys for a minute, ask you where you've been, where you're going, and all those great things. And so excited. I want to wish you good luck on your trip, and want to say Mado from the Creek Nation for stopping in today, and good to have you, Bronson.
Well, thank you very much. In Navajo, that's how you have.
All right.
So.
Well, today we stopped here. One of our stop that was planned. We've been doing this run for about 4 years now to Washington, D.C., and one of the plans that we have is try to visit as many Native American tribes across the nation to at least thank them for their services in the armed forces, those that have been there and those that are there today. Visiting the nation here, Muskogee Nation, very special. To me, it's very special, and I'm pretty sure all the other riders feel the same way with the reception we have. Not only that, but with your veterans and the building that you have put up for your veterans should be a symbol that they know that they're appreciated for what they've done. Not only winning wars or whatever, but protecting our freedom. One of the things that I always preach is freedom isn't free. Somebody has to pay the price to do what we all do and enjoy do. That's one thing that I continue to stress across the nation, even in our own nation, Navajo Nation. Continue to say that to a lot of people. With our run, that's the whole message, is freedom isn't free. There are those that have gave their lives for our freedom, and some have given their lives to protect us and came home injured. They're not fully capable of doing what they used to do. They're the ones that need our help, and that's the ones that we are advocating for, is to get services for them and to continue services and better the services throughout the nation, not only in my state, Arizona, but all other states across the United States. And now across the United States we have so many tribes, and all of them have gone to the front lines to protect our freedom. And people need to understand that that is very important. And the young folks now, a lot of them are in Afghanistan and Iraq. Same thing. What do they have when they come home? Not much. So we're advocating for them as well, to at least have the United States government sit down and really think about what's really going on. It's not just nothing but oil, but it's about lives. And you know, to save lives, I've lost a nephew in Afghanistan 3 years ago, and have lost my grandpa in World War II. So it's really hard to have family members cope with these things day to day, and that a lot of times nothing's been done. But today, as we speak, with the riders that we have that's going across the nation, we do have our annual Navajo Hopi Honor Run that I coordinate every year. This is the 6th year that we just completed Saturday. As soon as we got done, we took off this way again to D.C. This is the 4th year that we're doing this. And we're doing this across the nation for all Native Americans, not only Navajos or Hopis, but for all nations, because through marriages, we just met somebody out here from my hometown. And, you know, we're all over the place, and I'm pretty sure your tribal members are all over the place too, intermarrying other tribes and stuff like that. So why just say your tribe? We're all Native Americans, so we're all one, and that's the way I look at it. And I just really want to thank the nation again here welcoming us this afternoon. I don't know, I'm lost for words to really say how much it meant to me. It's just coming in and being welcome, and at the same time being presented a Navajo Nation flag with the Navajo Honor Riders on it is just more than what we expected as well. I mean, you guys surprised us. You guys surprised us big time. But I do appreciate it on behalf of the riders, on behalf of the Navajo Nation. I want to thank again the Muskogee Nation welcoming us, and we'll be there for you whenever you guys need us.
And it looks like that will wrap us up for this week's episode of Native News Today. I would like to personally and graciously thank you for taking part in this little 30 minutes of fun that we'd call a television program every week. And I also want to thank you for tuning in next week. I always do that because I know that you're faithful viewers and you're going to do what I say. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love to have you, and we want to thank you guys once again. And hopefully everybody enjoyed taking a look back at some of the things we got to check out this week. The Navajo Riders, Mr. Mike Daniel, the Potter, and also the story that we had. The other one. It escapes me right now, but that's not the big deal. That's not the important. Light Horse. Yeah, thank you, Jared. The Light Horse story. How could I forget the first story we've ever had on this show about guns, and it escapes my memory. So Light Horse Police shooting their 12 gauges out there at the Omogee range, which is strategically placed. It's not the best place to shoot, so they got to shoot under some high pressure situations and not in the most comfortable of conditions, I just want to say. So also, before I go, I want to run down the June 21st, the big day out there at the Council House Museum. I want to let you know what's going on just so nobody misses out, because it's going to be full of things going on. And if you're a fan of art, and Indian art specifically, you really, really can't miss it if you're in the area. So at the Council House, right there on the square on 6th Street, downtown Altmoggy, you can't miss it if you go down 6th Street. Saturday, June 1st, it's all going to be kicked off at 10 a.m. with Mr. Mike Daniel, the featured artist and the potter there. He's going to be doing a demonstration, a pottery class demonstration, as well as running concurrently with the pottery class demonstration from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. will be Mike Daniel's show. So make sure and check that out, and it's 2 for the price of 1 there. Nice little 2 birds, 1 stone deal. So 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also, there'll be artists out on the lawn. There'll be kids art. There'll be a hunting encampment from the 1840s. There'll also be basket making exhibitions, all that going on. Mahinwados, the storytellers, Janine Washington and Will Hill. You might know them from such plays as the Christmas Carol Indian Edition and things like that. So that's great stuff. There'll be a parade going on around that time too. The festival, stomp dance, all the whole works out there at the Council House, and that's put on by the Oklahoma Arts Council. So check that out on Saturday, June 21st, and then stick around for the rest of the festival festivities that are going to be going on around that time too, because there's going to be lots of stuff going on. You make sure and you need to check that out because it's a great weekend. It's great 2 weekends, and it's the biggest thing going on at the Muskogee Creek Nation for the year. So with all of that, take it in. Have a great week. We're going to do the same. I'm Jason Salzman for all the good people here at Native News Today. That'll do it for this week.